it's Jessii Vee. I literally feel like I'm in a library whenever I film with this backdrop. I mean, I've only filmed like literally twice with this backdrop, but like when I look in my viewfinder, I feel like I'm in a library, like a magical library. I know I keep talking about this background, but I can't get over it. It's just, I don't know why, but it's so nostalgic to me. Like I get a nostalgia feeling from it. I just want to like jump into one of the books and like go into a fairy tale realm. Anyways, guys, I introduced this backdrop yesterday, so if you would like to enter to win it, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel and be subscribed to my other channel called Vee Vlogs. The link is down below in the description. And your third and last step is to head over to the video where I show my art portfolio and comment your favorite piece from that portfolio. Just 3 steps and you are entered, y'all. But yeah, like I said before, I'm giving this one away, but I'm literally buying another one for myself because I kind of want to put it up on my wall in my studio. I feel like that'd be so cool just because it just represents me. Like this backdrop. I can't speak. Anyways though, today we're gonna be having a Tamagotchi discussion, which I know is probably so random. You guys are probably like, why are we doing a video on this? For some reason, Tamagotchis just came to my mind the other day because I remembered how impactful they were to me when I was a kid. I was so obsessed with them, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching were as well. And aren't they like making a comeback again? Like, aren't they making like new ones nowadays? I don't even know what they're doing nowadays. I just know that back then it was like everybody in my class had a Tamagotchi. And if any of you guys are like OG subscribers to this channel, you'll remember a Tamagotchi story that I did like 3-4 years ago, where I talk about how I actually tried to steal a kid's Tamagotchi because it was like the first week they were becoming really popular and everybody had a Tamagotchi except for me because my parents wouldn't buy me one because they were so expensive, and they honestly were so expensive. Like, weren't they like 30 bucks or something for a little tiny, like, that's so expensive. And you guys should go watch that video because it's just so hilarious. But I literally went into some kid's bag and almost stealed it, but then I felt bad and then I like had to give it back. But that just goes to show you like how much I loved them. Anyways though, I have like 2 kind of story times in one video, and it's the reason why I stopped playing with my Tamagotchis, because I feel like I had 2 things happen that kind of scarred me, and I literally put all of my Tamagotchis into a box and like hid them away. I think I like stuffed them under my bed and never used them ever again after these 2 things happened. So we're gonna talk about these 2 things, and I also want to hear from you guys. Like, tell me about your Tamagotchi stories. Like, did anything creepy ever happen with your Tamagotchi? Actually, that's a really good idea. I could make a video called Reading Your Creepy Tamagotchi Stories. Yes. So comment down below right now if anything creepy has ever happened with your Tamagotchi, because if it has, I might feature you in an upcoming video. We'll see if I'll do that video. I think it's a good idea though. I always love like making a topic and having you guys send me in stuff surrounding that topic, because then we're just all like talking about it, you know what I mean? Anyway, so let's get into my first Tamagotchi story. So as you guys know, the Tamagotchi phase was absolutely insane. Like, you'd walk out for recess and everybody would be huddled up like connecting their Tamagotchis. And I also feel like it was a good way to like talk to your crush if you had one, because it would be so casual. Like, you just walk up to them and be like,
hey, I have a Tamagotchi. Wanna like connect or something?
And then you'd like have to stand there with each other while your Tamagotchis were interacting, and like that would like make you be able to talk to your crush. Or maybe that was just me, maybe that's just something I did, I don't know. But I know there was this guy on my bus, and I know we just did a story time about my whole bus situation, but there was this guy that I sat beside who was also kind of quiet like I was, and we both had Tamagotchis. And I always sensed that maybe he had a crush on me just because of like his mannerisms, and he would like make me cootie catchers and stuff. Like, I don't know, I felt like every time I sat on the bus, he would have made me something out of paper, which was like really cute at first. Like, I thought it was really sweet. I didn't personally have a crush on him, but like, I wasn't gonna be rude. Like, I always accepted what he gave me. He'd be like,
hey Jessii, so here's a cootie catcher that I made for you. It's really special.
And his cootie catchers were actually really intricately made. Like, they didn't look like any other cootie catchers that you would see. Like, it was so detailed, and like, I wish I had a picture of it, or I wish I like kept them. But it was like a cootie catcher 2.0, you know what I mean? So I like gladly accepted it. But once he realized that we both had Tamagotchis, that's kind of the next step that he took. So whenever I got in the bus, he wouldn't even let me sit down before he'd be like,
hey, so wanna connect to Tamagotchis?
And I'd always be like, okay, yeah, sure, just give me a second. I just have to like sit down and relax for like 2 seconds, and then we can definitely connect to Tamagotchis. So for the first couple weeks, like, it was fun talking to this guy, and it was fun like connecting our Tamagotchis because that was like the craze. It was popular, it was fun. I I actually enjoyed having a buddy on the bus that I could like do the Tamagotchi stuff with. That sounds so strange. So you gotta imagine, you're on the bus going to and from school like 5 days a week, literally. And so it was literally all this guy wanted to do whenever I sat down. It was he wanted our Tamagotchis to like be friends and like connect. And after a while, I think I started getting a little bit bored of it. Like it's just so repetitive. Like there's only so many games you can play. There's only so many things your Tamagotchis can actually do together. So I started leaving my Tamagotchi at home sometimes and it would really disappoint him. Like I'd sit down and he'd be like, ready to connect? And I'd be like, actually today I don't have it. And like his face would just drop and he'd be like,
what do you mean you don't have it? Like it's a tradition on the bus. We do this all the time.
And I was like, I know, it's just today, like I totally forgot. Like I kind of just needed a break, you know what I mean? And he would not take that well at all. And I remember the days that I would bring it, he would be so obsessed with us playing together that it would just drive me nuts. Like I was a super fan, but I wasn't like a super fan. Like this guy, I don't even know how the teachers didn't like see him playing with this during class, but he would have it like in his desk, like playing it constantly. He was obsessed with it. I feel like he even took it to the washroom with him. Like he was like, oh my goodness. And like when our bus would drop us off in the neighborhood, he didn't live near my house. Like if my house was this way, his house was that way. So we'd always say goodbye when we got off the bus and he would go to his house, I would go to mine. We walked home on our own. And it started to be that he would be like,
oh, like I'll walk towards your house and then I'll walk back my way.
And I remember thinking sometimes that was totally insane because I mean, we live in Canada. So like most of our year is winter and we'd have like freezing cold temperatures and like a snowstorm and he'd be like,
it's okay, I can walk with you and we can still connect our Tamagotchis and then I'll walk back to my house.
And he'd be like shaking because he wouldn't wear gloves because it's hard to like do your Tamagotchi thing with gloves. And I was like too polite to be like, no, you can't walk home with me. So like we would literally walk all the way home together and we'd be like connecting our Tamagotchis. And I think he just really started to irritate me. And I also felt kind of worried about his own like health because it's never good to be that obsessed with something. So that was one of the reasons why I stopped playing with Tamagotchis, because I felt like if I told him, hey, I'm bored of them, I don't want to play with them anymore, then he'd have to find like someone else to like do that with, you know what I mean? And it was kind of sad because I feel like when the phase was kind of going away, he was the very last one in our entire like school to still be playing with one. And I mean, like, it's cool. Like if you're passionate about something and you enjoy something, like that's totally fine. I just feel like it's always good to have like a breather sometimes. Take a break from stuff like that and just like breathe. Like just breathe and have a break from the Tamagotchi sometimes. So yeah, I think he overwhelmed me and that made me stop liking them, you know? Like did any of you guys have a friend that was so obsessed with them that like their whole life revolved around it? Because oh my goodness. And the second story about why I stopped playing with them is one day I received one of those really creepy chain emails, and I've discussed this on my channel before, but those used to go around a lot when I was a kid and when I was in elementary school. People would just forward them constantly. Like they'd be like, if you don't forward this to 20 people, Sally the ghost will be under your bed tonight staring at you and listening to you snore. And like everybody would believe these chain emails, you know what I mean? But there was this thing going around talking about a glitch with the Tamagotchis, and it talked about this girl's story and like what happened to her one day with her Tamagotchi. And I don't remember it word for word because obviously this was such a long time ago, but from what I remember, it was about this girl who was playing with her Tamagotchi every single day, and then one day her Tamagotchi refused to do things. Like, you know how you'd make it play and you give it food and stuff? One time it just kind of like stopped moving and shook its head like it didn't want to like have food, it didn't want to play or whatever. And then it slowly went up to the screen of the Tamagotchi, so its whole head was taking up the screen and all you can see was like its eyes and like its head, and it was just staring at this girl and it stayed frozen there blinking. And she tried to turn it off, she tried to take the batteries out, but no matter what she did, this Tamagotchi was just right up to the screen looking at her. Like it looked really angry with her and like there was no longer like love between them. Like, you know when you felt like your Tamagotchi actually loved and respected you, even though it's just like a robotic toy thing? But in this email it was saying that if you overplay with your Tamagotchi, the Tamagotchi like goes crazy or goes insane. I don't remember the words, but it made me scared because I knew I was playing with it probably more than I should have. So that email scared me as well. So I think I had 5 at the time and they were all like cool patterns and colors and stuff, but I literally put them all into a box, hid them under my bed, and I think like a year later I sold them in a garage sale. But it was just, I don't know. I felt like that whole phase was so unhealthy in so many ways. And like I highly doubt that glitch was actually real. In fact, it was probably a parent who like wrote that chain email to scare kids to like make them stop. Because I remember my sister and I would literally annoy our parents because we'd had the Tamagotchis like at the dinner table while we were eating. So like it was probably a parent who wrote that because they're like, hey, how can we get our children to stop playing this silly toy? But like to this day, like I still think they're really cute, and like if you have one, it's all cool, don't worry about it. But yeah, if you have any like creepy Tamagotchi stories, definitely let me know. I just wanted to have like a Tamagotchi discussion today. I know this video is probably so dumb. But like you guys know my story times sometimes are a little bit pointless, but like they're still goofy, so I still tell them, you know what I mean? Anyways though guys, I'm gonna get going now. Don't forget to enter to win the backdrop behind me. The link is down below if you want to subscribe to Vee Vlogs. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!